إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد واهتدى ومن يعصيهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic that I chose for today's khutbah, inshallah, will be shaytan. Now the reason I chose this topic is because I feel like we do not know exactly what shaytan is and what he does to us and how we should combat it properly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah Fatir, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًا. Indeed, shaytan is to you, all of you. Lakum, to all of humanity, he is an enemy. So take him as an enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. And when we told the angels to prostrate to Adam, they all prostrated except for Iblis, he was from the jinn. So shaytan he was among the jinn, he was among the dwellers of paradise. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam and ordered the angels to prostrate to him, all the angels prostrated, Iblis disobeyed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then told him, Ya Iblis, why didn't you prostrate? And then Iblis replied, it is not for me to prostrate to one you created from mud when you created me from fire. Because he said, I'm better than him, I'm created from fire, which is stronger than clay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then cursed Iblis and sentenced him to be banished from Jannah. But before Iblis left, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Oh Allah, can you delay my punishment until the end of times, until the day of judgment? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala agreed to this. And Iblis said, until the end of times, I will take as many people, as many of your servants as I can, and I will lead them towards the hellfire. I will lead them to my way and I will misguide them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan. You have no power above my chosen servants. So, let's talk a little bit more now about the nature of Iblis. Iblis by nature is a cowardly existence. He's scared, he's weak, he's very weak. In the hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when the adhan is called, when the mu'adhin says, Allahu Akbar, Iblis runs a very, very wide, very far distance from where the adhan was called. And then he returns when the iqamah is being called so that he may distract you in your prayer. But just the mention of Allah by the mu'adhin, Allahu Akbar, is enough to drive him away. Again, in the Quran, we see Iblis, many times we see Iblis being a coward. In Surah Tawbah, during the battle of Badr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals to us, وَإِذْ زَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُمْ وَقَالَ لَا غَالِبَ لَكُمُ الْيَوْمَ مِنَ النَّاسِ وَإِنِّي جَارٌ لَكُمْ. Iblis was with the people, with the kuffar of Mecca during the battle of Badr. And when he saw the angels of Allah descending, إِنِّي أَرَى مَا لَا تَرَوْنَ إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهِ. He said, indeed I see what you see, and indeed I fear Allah. And another verse we have in Surah Ibrahim, on the day of judgment, after the matter has been decided, after judgment has been decreed upon everybody, the people who have been sentenced to hellfire, they will call out to shaitan. They will say, hey, you're the one who left me here, who led me here. You're the one who left me to rot in hellfire. And then shaitan will say, وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ. Indeed, what Allah had promised you was true. The promise of Allah was true. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا أَنْ دَعُوتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. And what I promised you was false. I lied to you. I tricked you. All I didn't make you physically come here with me into hellfire. All I did was guide you to my way. All I did was, make it appealing to you. Hey, come on, let's go. And you followed me. and I do not associate with you. In Surah Hashr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كَمَثَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِذْ قَالَ لِلْإِنسَانِ اكْفُرْ. The example of shaitan is when he tells man, he tells insan, إِذْ قَالَ لِلْإِنسَانِ اكْفُرْ, when he tells us disbelieve. فَلَمَّا كَفَرْ, then after insan has disbelieved, he says, قَالَ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّنْكَ. Indeed, I do not associate with you. I am free from you. We're separate. إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهِ. إِنِّي أَخَافُ اللَّهِ رَبَّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Indeed, I am afraid of Allah and I fear Allah, Lord of all the worlds. So, if shaitan is so weak, it begs the question, how is it so easy for him to make us do bad things? Shaitan does not, as we know, shaitan cannot physically make you do something bad. He cannot control your hand, make you go to the store, grab a bottle of alcohol and start drinking it. It doesn't work that way. Shaitan is very weak, as we've seen. The only thing shaitan can do is whisper. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions him in the Quran as the chief whisperer. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ فَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ. And do not let the chief whisperer deceive you. Shaitan will start small. He'll say, come on, just go look at it. One look won't hurt. Come on, just look. One look. First look is halal. It's fine. He'll say, just a taste. Maybe you'll have to try it once. Maybe it's whatever, alcohol. It could be, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. But on a campus, very diverse campus, we see things that we shouldn't be seeing. We see things that do not align with what we believe in, things that are outright haram. Iblis will whisper, come on, just to look. You think Adam alayhi salam, when he was told about the tree that was so tasty, but he knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prohibited it, you think he just went and ate it? No. Iblis came in the form of a snake, and then he slowly made the idea appealing to Hawa alayhi salam. He said, come on, don't you want just a taste? It's really tasty. They said, no, of course not. This is haram. We can't do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbid it for us. But slowly, he guided them towards it. He's like, come on, just a taste. A little bit. Come on, one little bite won't hurt. It's so tasty though. And this is how the shaitan can get us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. But it starts small. The shaitan won't immediately come to you and say, hey, go do this, go watch this, what you're not supposed to watch. Go listen to this, go drink this, go eat this. I'll say, come on. Slowly. Just one taste. One glance. Just 1 second. Listen to it for 1 second. Maybe it's something interesting. And slowly, as Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in another hadith, that when insan commits a sin, a black dot appears on his heart. And then as he keeps sinning, his heart becomes darker and darker until eventually the sin overtakes him and he cannot tell good from bad anymore and he cannot stop sinning. That's Iblis's goal. He can't immediately make you do something bad, but he just needs that one black dot. And then slowly, he'll make you, increase in our disobedience. He'll go, just one look, one glance. Okay, just one sip, one bite. You can quit later, just do it now. And then eventually, slowly, as it gets worse and worse, until eventually, it's very hard. Now that we know how Iblis's tactics work, we need to know how to combat it, how we can stay protected from him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, and He gives an example as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِمَّا يَنْزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٌ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ. And when there comes to you from shaitan an evil suggestion, then seek refuge in Allah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Whenever you get an evil thought, whenever you get an idea in your head, maybe I should do this. And we know that this is something that we can't do. This is something very bad. But that we have the voice in our head. The shaitan whispers to our nafs. He says, come on, just one. The first thing we should do is say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. The beautiful example we have is in Surah Al-Yusuf. When Yusuf alayhi salam was being held in Egypt, and then the minister's wife, she came to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates this story. وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك. She closed the door. وقالت هيت لك. She said, come to me. What did Yusuf alayhi salam do? قال معاذ الله. He sought refuge in Allah. معاذ الله إنه ربي أحسن مثواي. He said, my refuge is only in Allah. So from this we know when the shaitan comes to us, he comes to whisper to us, hey, come on, let's do this, just one sip, just one look, come on, just try it. The first thing we should do is seek refuge in Allah. And it's very possible to be somebody that the shaitan will run after everybody, and shaitan will never stop. Shaitan is going to be here till the day of judgment. After we're gone, when our kids are here, when our grandkids are here, he'll never stop going after people. But we have an example. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when Umar radiallahu anhu would walk one path, the shaitan would take another path. He's Amir al-Mu'mineen, he is of the highest status behind the prophets. But we can see that as an example for us. When one is so occupied with the dhikr of Allah, the remembrance of Allah, and when immediately a bad thought comes to us, we seek refuge in Allah. And that is the best way we can combat the whispers of Iblis. So, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the strength to to always fight against the whispers of shaitan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to defeat our nafs, defeat the whispers of shaitan. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to do amal, and myself firstly, on what was spoken today. أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين أما بعد فيا معشر المسلمين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله جل وعلا في كتابه الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد بعدد من صلى وصام اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد بعدد من قعد وقام اللهم صل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى سائر الصحابة والتابعين وعلى عبادك الصالحين اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم اللهم أرنا الحق وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم ثبتنا على الإسلام اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات عباد الله رحمكم الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون أقم الصلاة